Hello. Hello, hello. We're going to let people join. Hi, you guys. Thank you. Hi. Okay, cool. We have a few people. Let me know if anyone's here. Let me know if you can hear me and see me. That's always good news. I don't have my microphone plugged in. My big time microphone. Because I'm moving things. Yikes. And I couldn't find my cord to plug it in. Hi, Boston. Thanks for joining. Boo. Hi, Sarah. Okay, you can hear me. That's good news.
Is there something else I can help with?
Siri can hear me apparently also. So, Siri, I don't know. I don't need you. I don't need you. Greetings from Montana. Hi, Montana. Thanks for joining. All allowed and sounds great. Awesome. How is everyone? I haven't done a live in a few minutes. I'm going to give it just a few. Can you hear me still? Oh, there it goes. Hi, Pablo. It's a little laggy. Okay. Do you and laggy for too much? Hi from North Carolina. I'm going to apologize to everyone. My service just appears to be horrible right now. So I apologize. Good news is this isn't going to last for much longer. I'm in the country. I just have terrible service and it sucks so bad. So better. I'm probably going to be in California within probably about a month or two. I know you all think I'm crazy for going back there, but the one good piece of good news is that my internet connection will be a lot better. So I apologize for all of my horrible service. This is why sometimes I get a little hesitant to do lives because I feel so horrible when I do them. And then it's just the service is really bad and there's not much I can do about it. Aha. Okay, so you can still hear me. What shall we chit chat about? There's a lot of stuff going on in the world today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here for me amidst all of the 2030. I'm not what 2030. All right, I think we can get started now. I'm about 5 minutes in. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for watching. I'm so glad you're here. I really missed you guys. I'm going to be going live every day this week at 9 p.m. So if you want to, I know I'm 9:30 today, but I will be at 9 p.m. every day this week going forward. It'll probably change just because I am moving away, so that time probably will change a little bit. A lot of news coming out tonight, and many are having some problems. Maybe that's what it is, because it's being a lot slower than usual, and this is kind of tripping me up a little bit. Yeah, it's being a lot slower than usual, so maybe that is because so much news is coming out. Um, there's a lot going on right now. Everything seems just super hyper. And I just think that's probably because we have a really big election coming up. It's a big election. I mean, this election, I can't think of a bigger election. I thought 2020 was the biggest election. I'm going to say this one is. And the reason I say that is because we're 2.5 years into the Biden administration, and look how many things have already rapidly changed. What do you think is going to happen 4 more years of this? I would hate to think of what's going to happen 4 more years of what we're doing now. We're only 2.5 years in. So this is a very important election. And there is a lot of news coming out, and there's probably going to be a lot of propaganda coming out as well. So some of the things that recently happened, well, it was really interesting. So the Trump indictment, I want to share with you a piece of propaganda out of the Trump indictment that I don't think a lot of people realize, but this is what the media does. And this is why I think it's so important to point it out and to be able to identify it so you can see what the media does. This is a sneaky form of propaganda. So we have this Trump indictment, right? So these indictments are coming out. I believe it's 37 counts. These indictments are coming out. No, this is the result of the Mar-a-Lago raid, right? Which they found all of the documents. Now, if you read the indictment, it says that there were a few documents that they didn't feel were properly declassified. So if you know anything about the president of the United States, he can declassify anything essentially. And yeah, you can take documents with you, especially if they're, personal documents. Apparently, some of the documents that Trump had were letters that he got from foreign leaders that he was making a book out of. That's totally innocent. Or letters that he got from certain people, like certain correspondents. That's totally innocent. What the indictment doesn't do is it doesn't tell you exactly what was in the documents. So we don't even know what these documents are. We don't know how serious they are. And my issue, so there was a picture that went out of these stacks and stacks of documents, and they were in a bathroom. So they were in a bathroom with a chandelier. And the reason they posted that picture is because they wanted you to get this image in your head that Trump had boxes and boxes and boxes of classified documents, and they were unsecured, and this is so reckless, and this and that and this and that, when in reality we don't know what were in those boxes. We have no idea what were in those boxes. They could have been things that are completely innocent, because in the if you actually read the indictment or the papers, it says that maybe there are around 100 indictments or 100 documents that they were concerned about. And we still don't know what was in those documents. We have no idea. Yet we're given this picture. The original picture that came out when they originally did the raid had much fewer boxes in it and was in a completely different room. Yet this room is in his bathroom, and it has tons and tons and tons of boxes stacked on top of each other. So that tells me a few things. That tells me that well, we just don't know anything. We don't know what was in the documents. They can't tell us. They won't tell us. They're classified. It's almost looking like kind of a setup because the president can declassify things. So what it seems like is Trump had a correspondence with the people he was supposed to have a correspondence with, and he was under the impression that he could have taken these documents away. And it almost feels like a setup. And then that picture of all of these documents that just came out in his bathroom made me super suspicious. Because if you know how they do things, an image is very powerful. If you see that image and you see that headline and then you move on with your life, your impression in your head is going to be, oh my gosh, he took all of these documents. This is so reckless. Not to mention the hypocrisy. We haven't even gotten there yet. Miles said, I think the FBI moved the boxes around during the raid for photos. Yeah, a photo is a photo is a very, very powerful form of propaganda. And you don't even necessarily have to lie for a photo. You just take it and you attach it with a story. And then people looking at that story are like, holy cow, there's so many boxes. This is so reckless. How could you do this? Yeah, okay, so Glenn Allen is saying under the Presidential Records Act, there was a 5-year negotiation period, and that seems to be what Trump was doing. Again, that's why I kind of feel like it was a bit of a setup. And this is propaganda, but it's propaganda in the wrong area. Or it's propaganda in an area that I think even Republicans aren't really looking for the propaganda with the picture, is what I'm saying. Interesting times. Trump and DeSantis voters will focus on wrecking each other. Meanwhile, the election will get rigged again. Yeah, this whole Trump versus DeSantis thing is really, really interesting. Sarah, also the charges never mentioned President Trump's rights under. Yeah, they won't mention that. Well, if it's a political hit, if it's a propaganda hit, they can't mention actual things. They're usually what this relies on are that the average normie people looking at this, they're not going to look beyond the surface. They're just going to fall for the propaganda piece, which unfortunately is what a lot of people do. So that's interesting. And they wanted the tapes from the cameras. And then the timing on this is also really interesting because now we're finding out about a possible $10 million with the Bidens. So, right when all of this scandal is coming to the surface, now this is when all of a sudden Trump's indictment comes. It's the timing is extremely interesting, in my opinion. Hello, Special K, Steve, and they. Oh, I already read that one. Yeah, so the timing on all this is extremely interesting, extremely suspicious, in my opinion. I heard a theory too. It's interesting. I was talking to a friend of mine, and I heard a theory that they purposefully are trying to get sympathy for Trump to make him the Republican nominee because they think so many people hate Trump that they'll vote for Biden. What do you guys think about that? Hi, Sarah. Me and my son are voting for Joe again. It's on you. That's on you, man. They're desperate to find something so he can't run for reelection. Well, it's interesting. Speaking of voting for Joe Biden, something I've really been researching is the border situation. And this is one of my biggest concerns. We're only 2.5 years into this administration. I would safely estimate that there have been about 10 million people that have entered our country illegally. And I'm saying that with the estimated numbers that we already have. We know 6 million. We also know that there's another at least million that are gotaways. So that keeps you at 7 million. And I'm going to guess that it's about at least 3, 4, 5 million more than that. So I'm thinking that there's probably the number is closer to 10 million people that have entered our country illegally since Joe Biden has taken office. And these are people that do not, the majority of them, and I know this because they will tell you, they do not have legitimate asylum claims. They are economic migrants, which that's fine. We're a very welcoming country, but we do have a legal path to be an economic migrant. And I was reading a story just this morning. New York City is making mega shelters now because they have now had, they're estimating about 74,000 illegal immigrants that have come to New York City, and they have to find places to shelter these individuals. Hannity is showing his interview with Gavin Newsom. Yeah, that was a bit of a curveball. But I'll tell you this. Gavin Newsom is kind of a curveball. I don't think he's as of a leftist as he says. I think he's actually more right leaning. He's just a political hack in my opinion. So he goes wherever the Overton window for him and is where he's going to go. Timothy, you didn't miss much. We're just kind of hanging. I think they just plan to put pizza boxes covering the Glenn, okay, wait, Glenn, I didn't watch the episode. Okay, maybe we can find it. So Hannity asked, this is really interesting. Okay, so what Glenn is saying, we're going to look at this together. What Glenn is saying is that I knew that uh, Gavin Newsom was doing an interview on Hannity. I haven't watched the full, I've seen clips of it. Okay. So apparently, Hannity asked Gavin Newsom about the border. This is very interesting because California is a sanctuary state. Also, the city council of Los Angeles just, I don't know why they did this. This is so virtue signally and just so icky, but the city council of Los Angeles just declared that they're a sanctuary city. Okay, you already were. Why would you just declare that? Also, they're declaring it amid like just uh record crossings on our border. Okay, so anyway, back to the point. Glenn says that Hannity asked Gavin about the border. Okay, let's see if I can find this clip and we'll watch it together. It's right here. Stop it. It's right here. Stop it. Stop. I'm going to download these right now. Oh, it's going to be good. Stop it. Stop looking at me. Oh, no, you stop. This isn't what I'm recording right now. It's not the border question, though. It's a different question. But I'm going to do this one and then we'll look at the border question. I'm really curious about the border question because Gavin Newsom is so pro sanctuary. He loves sanctuary. He can't get enough of sanctuary. I don't know what this is about Gavin Newsom because sometimes he likes Trump and sometimes he doesn't. Like at the very beginning of the pandemic, uh Gavin Newsom started praising Trump and then it was almost like he remembered that he was supposed to hate Trump and then he got right back on bashing Trump. Also, Kimberly Guilfoyle, who was previously with Gavin Newsom, is now dating Trump's son, is now with Trump's son. So, and she has publicly said recently that her and Gavin talk like they're friends. So they're still friendly. Okay, so in this clip that I'm about to show you guys, Hannity is showing Gavin Newsom clips of Biden falling. Oh, this is good. Guilfoyle. Guilfoyle. Is that how you say it? Guilfoyle? Hannity isn't hardcore enough typically, though. He won't talk about NWO or Bilderberg meeting. Oh, interesting. No, we don't like the green energy investment. I don't trust the green energy investment. I'm going to show you this clip in just a second. I'm recording it. Corporations don't pay taxes. They pass the cost on to consumers. Let's hope. Here's the problem. Okay, got it. Your president. She is Trump Jr.'s girlfriend. Yeah, and apparently her and Gavin Newsom are still friends and they talk. So you would think if he hated Trump that much, like if all the things that he publicly says about Trump are true, you would think that he would be like, I can't even talk to you for being in that family. I'm trying to find the border question and then we'll watch these together. Gavin Newsom border, Hannity. He still pretends it's left versus right, even though it's just up versus down at this point. I agree. I completely agree with you. Okay, I don't think I have the border question yet, but let's get this question. Or let's get this segment. Why did I do that? Okay. So what about the cease and desist from Tucker today? Okay, so this is what I know about this cease and desist from Tucker today. So Tucker's been releasing essentially like just like opinion pieces, almost like what his monologues used to be on his show. So he's been releasing essentially like little video clips on Twitter. And these video clips have been getting upwards of 100 million views, like insane amounts of views. So Fox News sent him a scathing letter, essentially a cease and desist, saying that he needs to stop making these videos because it violates his contract. Now, what they mean by this violating his contract is because they had probably a non-compete in the contract, which basically says if you leave, this company, you can't go to another company that essentially does the same exact thing right away because you could be stealing business from the company you just left. So it's a non-compete. It's not an abnormal thing, but essentially they're attempting to use that non-compete to silence him and make it so that he can't talk online. Now, Tucker's defense of this is this is my social media platform. This is my personhood. This is just me giving my opinions on my social media. This is not a direct compete. This isn't a media company. This isn't a legacy news corporation, or this isn't a news corporation. This is just me and my personhood on social media giving my opinions. And this is against freedom of speech because I am a person and I am allowed to say what I think. So there's that. This will actually be a really interesting battle to watch. This is a big free speech battle because if you know what Fox News did to Tucker, they didn't fire him. They just essentially were not allowing him to work and be on his show. And now they're using this non-compete to try and silence him. Wild. Not to mention what we already know. Tucker was the highest rated primetime cable news show. He was beloved among his fans. And this news organization just got him off the air without any explanation to their fans. None. Zero. They still haven't given an explanation. We have no idea what happened or why. So Hermit Dillon, his lawyer, yeah, she's pretty good. She mentioned something, but yeah, it's essentially what it is. That's the argument. They're saying this is my personhood, this is my social media. I'm allowed to talk, and I think the reality is, I think that he's just been getting insane views on social media, and I think that they did not expect that. I don't know. So that's a really interesting one to follow, and I will be following that because I would love to see the outcome of that. All right, we're looking for. So this is Hannity. Okay, I do have to admit.
Of being president, and as a little reminder, take a look at your.
Okay, I have to admit, you guys, you're gonna have to listen to it too because the video did flip. I was recording this on my phone while I was talking to you, and I wanted to pay attention to you. So the video did flip in the middle, so you can't see anything, but you can still hear the conversation. This is Hannity asking Gavin Newsom if he thinks that Joe Biden is fit to run for president.
Up to the job of being president, and as a little reminder, take a look at your president in the monitor.
And there's an awful lot of stories that are told, probably a bunch apocryphal about the former prime minister. Like you take baths up that. Anyway.
Wandering around at 3 a.m. Yeah, Winston Churchill.
By the way, I met with who are those guys that fly over shortly? You heard of them, haven't you? And the cheer for Muslim, we cheer for Muslim athletes like Kareem Abdul Jabbar. I know him, and I did mispronounce his name. So I'm trying to think. Where was the last place I was? It's hard to keep track. I mean, yeah, you're right. Ireland. That's where it was. EIGH%. He said, "You're too much. You're too much like that guy who led the revolution instead of the guy who was the prime minister." I said, he said, "You got to be less like the military guy. They shot him." God bless you all. Let's go lick the world. Let's get it done.
And then you got Joe Biden who's having a hard time standing up. Take a look at that one.
Did you hear Gavin? Yeah, I mean.
I want you to tell me that you think.
At least the camera went back to normal. I got another video. Hold on, we're gonna keep watching that. This is the interview tonight with Gavin and Hannity. I'm clipping out some other things for you too from this interview. All right, let's keep watching.
He is cognitively strong enough to lead this country against China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, and a new axis of evil, and that he's the guy. He cannot articulate the economy the way you just did.
Yeah, but I don't think he's capable. I know he's capable. I see results. I've seen a masterclass results the last few years. You don't see the results on the.
Wait, masterclass results? Wait, what are the results? We hold the phone. We have inflation, sky high gas prices, basically a huge illegal immigration racket going on right now. We have fentanyl coming in. I'm sure you guys can name 20 other things just off the top of your head, but they keep saying results. What exactly are the results? Are the like, who are these results benefiting is my question. I don't see these results benefiting the average American at all. And that's the issue. So I would like to know the specifics of the results over here. Let's keep watching this one. Hi, Max.
The CHIPS Act. You don't see the results on the infrastructure. You had infrastructure week every week for 4
CHIPS Act,
years.
we're still importing them all from Taiwan, which is about to be taken over by China.
We had $4 billion proof point just here in California with Applied Materials, bringing semiconductor investment back here in the state of California. My point being,
we're going to talk about
real results, but bipartisan results, real results, jobs programs. The IRA, I know you don't like it. I mean, hundreds of billions of dollars in green energy investment, mostly in.
See, he just said it. Who does this benefit? Who does it benefit? Hundreds of millions of dollars invested into green energy. That doesn't help Americans. All of this green energy, it crushes low income and middle class Americans. But see, it benefits him and his goons. That's why he's excited about it. That's why they tell you we're winning. The plan is working. Yeah, because it benefits you and your goons.
Red states, you're the biggest beneficiary.
Meanwhile, the average American suffers.
Of the IRA.
He raised taxes on oil, gas, coal, pensions, and, quote, taxes corporations. Corporations don't pay taxes. They pass the cost on to consumers.
Exactly.
Here's the problem. Up to the job.
Exactly. This green energy thing, this, in my opinion, is a scam. I'm not saying climate change isn't real. Climate always changes. And obviously, we should all take care of our planet and we should do our part. I am of the philosophy that when you lay your head in your bed at night, the world should be better because you were in it. Like, that's the goal every day. Make the world better than what it was when you entered it. It should be better when you leave it than when you enter. 85,000 children, actually. 85,000 children that are missing. There's a few people that are working on really big trafficking documentaries, which I'm extremely excited about, and I want to talk about it more in the future. Mel Gibson is working on one. There's a movie called Nefarious coming out. Okay, let's look at this second video. And it's fascinating to look at Gavin because he has big political dreams, people. He wants to be the president. Okay, so this is Gavin.
Did shut down one business, but there was a bad location.
Okay, so this is Gavin talking about San Francisco and all the businesses shutting down. San Francisco right now is an absolute hellscape. So they're going to be talking about Whole Foods. So Whole Foods shut down. A lot of businesses shut down in San Francisco. And I don't think they're going to talk about it in this interview because this news just came out today. But Westfield Mall, that's been in downtown San Francisco for a really long time, a huge tourist getter, huge moneymaker, they're leaving San Francisco. They're going to be leaving. There's also two major hotel chains or two major hotels, Park Hotels, both of them huge hotels, pulled out of San Francisco within the past few weeks. Just last week, they made this announcement. So Park Hotels last week made this announcement. Westfield Mall this week made this announcement just today. They're pulling out. And what Park Hotels said is they said, it's just we don't see anything changing in the foreseeable future. And we just can't sustain business here. It's not good for our brand. So here's Gavin Newsom when being questioned, and you see responsibility for California's homeless problem. So they're talking about San Francisco, and the reason he's talking about Whole Foods is because that's one of the major businesses that pulled out of San Francisco.
Whole Foods did shut down one business, but there was a bad location to begin with. They're opening a new one. We have 2.7%.
My sister was out here recently with her team, and I said, don't go to the wharf.
Certain parts are bad, and we own that. I just put the National Guard and the CHP down there. Whole Foods did shut down.
By the way, I have seen no pictures of the National Guard. If anyone has pictures of the National Guard, send them to me. I've seen no pictures of them. I've seen no improvements. So I don't know this whole National Guard thing. I don't know what's going on with that. I was really excited about it when he mentioned it. I thought, wow, maybe he's going to get right. Maybe he's going to get real. But I've seen nothing. Okay, I'm still looking for this. I really want to see him question on immigration. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but when I first discovered Gavin Newsom, it was I was living in California, and the reason I was researching who he was, this is before I got super political, but I noticed that I specifically lived in a neighborhood that I could walk around in, that I could walk to the grocery store and like a coffee shop, like I could walk to a lot of places. And that's just something I like to do. I like to walk. I like to live in walkable areas and neighborhoods. I've always grown up in the suburbs, so that's always been something I wanted. And the city, or the little place that I lived in within Los Angeles, was extremely walkable. But what I noticed after a few years, I started noticing, wow, I can actually not walk down that street anymore. So streets that I literally used to be able to walk down a year ago, I would notice I could less and less walk down those streets and feel safe. I had to start taking different routes when I would walk places, and I really started noticing this, and I'm like, what is happening here? This is a really, like, so many rich people, like, I'm from the South, and I'm like, so many rich people live in this state. Like, why is it not maintained better? I didn't understand. It made no sense to me. So then I researched who the governor was, and it was Gavin Newsom. And I happened to go on his social media, and he was in Mexico. And he was like, we love illegal immigration. Or I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was something along those lines. And I was like, this feels backwards. I don't know. If I'm seeing the homeless situation getting exponentially worse every single year, shouldn't we maybe like close up shop and focus on that and fix that before we, and I'm not talking about legal immigration. I'm talking about illegal immigration. Illegal immigration. So we're encouraging illegal immigration amidst all these issues. Make it make sense, because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And that's where you get into conspiracy land, unfortunately, because it doesn't make sense. Okay, I really, really want to find him on immigration. Hmm. I don't know if I can find him. Newsom. Yeah, so essentially, well, what they call it, so what they call it in Los Angeles is the homeless industrial complex, because they pour billions of dollars into this issue every single year, and it only gets worse. And you'll see trends of like homelessness going down in the rest of the United States, but it gets worse in California. That's because of the homeless industrial complex. You have people that are making six figures on this problem. You have all these, I call them the clipboard people. You have all these like administrators and nonprofits and all of these people that are hired to work on these issues. They make big salaries, yet the issue gets worse. So you have to ask yourself, where is this money going? And a lot of the issue is not just that, it's also the Housing First people and the Housing First initiative. So they basically make deals with contractors building these highly complex and highly expensive units that are supposed to house people, and they take forever to build. They're extremely expensive, and the problem just gets worse. And then the people that you are eventually able to house in these units, a lot of them now, they're unfortunately addicted to drugs. So now you're putting them in an enclosed private space where they can be addicted to their drugs and no one can see them. It's very sad. Yeah, I call them the clipboard people. And these are people that are incentivized for keeping this problem going.
What's that? Per capita, more Floridians move to California than Californians moving to Florida. An interesting omitted fact. What's that? Per capita, more Floridians move to California than Californians moving.
Okay, so that was the part of the interview too. So Gavin Newsom is now trying to spin that per capita more Floridians are moving to California than more Californians moving to Florida. Well, I will say this. If anyone knows that statistic, let me know. I don't know how that's true. California has lost 1% of their population. And that might not sound like a lot, 1%. That's huge. That's almost 1 million people. And this is the problem with politicians too. Like instead of actually, they're always running for reelection. So instead of actually acknowledging problems and acknowledging faults in their policies, they will essentially just try and gaslight you and run PR for their policies because they're seeking reelection. And this is such a problem with our political system. They're all about themselves and their own reelection, and they're not about the people that they serve. They're supposed to be for the people they serve. And if he was for the people that he served, what he would be doing is he would be acknowledging the problems and be offering more creative solutions, different solutions for the problem. He should be ensuring his people that he's going to work for them and try and fix these problems, but he doesn't. And a lot of them don't. What they do instead is they will try and run PR for themselves and they will gaslight you into thinking these problems don't exist. Very messed up. Sarah, a part of his answer on the border is under DeSantis. Okay, let me look for that. Let's look for that. So I'm going to search. Okay. Darn it. Why can't I find this one? I wonder if he's planning on running against Biden. No.
Housing costs are too high. Our regulatory, this state.
Here's more on
has not
homelessness.
made progress in the last 2 decades as it relates to homelessness. Why? Because housing costs are too high.
No.
Our regulatory thickets are too problematic.
Yeah.
Localism has been too impactful, meaning people locally are pushing back against new housing starts and construction. I've been here 4 years. I can't make up for the fact in 2005, we had an historic number of homeless under Republican administration.
Right now, there's 171,000 estimated.
Disgraceful.
Okay.
Disgraceful.
And all right, I'll compare to Florida again.
Oh, yeah.
26,000.
Of course.
Okay, same
Not
weather,
even
similar state. I mean, I've lived in both.
Dynamics are very different. That said, we own this, Sean. I'm not here defending it.
We own this. He tried to blame homelessness on people not wanting housing built in their neighborhoods? Huh? No, it's because they're attracting homeless people with their policies. That's not true. See, he's trying to deflect the issue again. He's actually blaming it on people being NIMBY. He is actually blaming the homeless problem on people being NIMBY. So it's your fault, the resident of California. You're too NIMBY. You should want to build homeless shelters and affordable housing next to your place where you live. Why would I do that when the policies that you're creating are enabling these individuals? No, it's your fault. This is the homeless issue in California is pure policy. It is not the people of California. It is the leaders of California that make the policy, that make the problem. They're also the ones that spend the billions of dollars and the problem gets worse. It's not housing, people. I cannot stress that enough. It is not housing. Is there maybe a housing issue? Things are super expensive in California. Absolutely. He was right about the regulations. But isn't he like king of regulations? Isn't he a proponent of regulations? Donald Trump was the deregulator. And that is a major problem with California. A lot of things are so over-regulated, it actually makes it impossible to build. That's another reason why these housing first people are delusional, that they think it's going to fix the housing problem. Why do you think they can't build regular housing? Okay, I want to find the immigration video. How's Seattle doing lately?
Has not made.
I don't know.
Policies are failing.
CHIPS Act, Science Act, you oppose that?
I will tell you.
For our president, I have great confidence in his
I don't want
leadership
him. I don't want him
and
to
what he's
fail.
been able to accomplish.
I think his policies are failing.
CHIPS Act, Science Act, you oppose that?
I will tell you on every measure, from the economy, inflation, borders, energy, national security, he's missing in action.
Let's talk about them in order. Let's
Well,
talk
hang on.
Wait, I want
no.
to challenge the premise. You said the economy, 13.1 million jobs he's created. More.
These are post-COVID jobs.
Okay.
You know that.
Well,
I mean, that's an artificial.
People going back to work.
Then let me stipulate this as an opportunity to engage civilly on this.
Okay.
Fair point. Your president, Donald Trump, lost 2.6 million jobs during his
COVID.
4 years. We've created 13.1 million. Fine, you can maintain a COVID frame. How about the fact that Joe Biden's created more jobs, 6 times more jobs than the previous 3 Republican presidents combined?
Are you going to tell me
Sean,
that the average family, where we have 2/3 of Americans now living paycheck to paycheck,
it was 70% under Trump? There was
That's not
70%.
true.
It was
Under Donald
70% under Donald Trump.
Pre-COVID, we had the
paycheck.
lowest unemployment rate for every demographic.
We have the lowest black unemployment in
pause
history,
you.
and you and I are living with the lowest unemployment
We had
in our lifetime, Sean.
We
You
had
can't
it for
make that
every
up.
demographic, and the economy was
Black
coming along.
unemployment's record low under Joe Biden.
Okay, we had historic low after historic low under Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. I mean,
Here's
but he's
what I don't
cleaned
wanna have
Trump's clock, Biden, in terms of the progress in job creation.
You
Look what he's done on
so what
jobs.
would you grade?
Okay, hold on. I need to respond to this Twitter comment. So I'm saying people being laid off due to COVID Stop auto-correcting. People being laid off due to COVID is not necessarily a fair jobs lost, and people being brought back to work after COVID is not necessarily jobs created. So that's what a lot of Democrats are trying to do right now to try and dunk on Trump. They're trying to use that issue, and look, there is a lot of extremely fair and valid criticism about Donald Trump and COVID. Believe me, I get it, and it's fair and it's valid, and we can have conversations about that. But what is extremely dishonest is saying that all those jobs were lost under Trump. No, these people were laid off due to COVID. And then the reason all these jobs were created under Biden, they were not created. These are people that went back to work. These are people that went back to the workforce because the economy was opened back up. Hi, zombies. Okay, let's voice record it. People being laid off from work due to the economy being shut down from COVID, and then people going back to the work market after the economy has opened back up are not jobs lost or jobs created. Totally dishonest argument. Try again. Tweet. Oh, okay, Sarah, more of Gavin Newsom's interview will be on later this week. Okay, I'm excited about that. I'm probably going to get off here in a few minutes. So I'm going to be live every night this week at 9 p.m. I definitely want to go through Gavin Newsom's interview. I really want to hear what he says about immigration, especially. So there's that. Anyway, you all, thank you so much for joining. Sorry to cut it a little bit short, but I'll be live every night this week at 9 p.m. And you'll see my little screen thing go on before I'm live, so you'll know where to meet. And I'll try and put. I didn't really have topics tonight. I hadn't been live in so long, so I just kind of wanted to see you and ease into it. But I'll have topics posted up on the video. So thank you all so much. Sarah, pride, person, earth, intersex. All right. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a really good night, and I'll see you later. Bye.